Okay, so failed to go live. I'm assuming we are live though, because we still have that problem.
All last week, yeah. It says we're live. That failed to go live. I mean, that's another one of the things that's slightly worrying me about. You know, is that something that will just continue to be there and will be confusing for our users for the next 3 months before it eventually becomes a real problem, or are Google actually going to do something about it in the next? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, please do take away the Scrum.
But do you not think it's because they're crossing over to new systems? I know somebody posted on Slack.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. I mean, there is that talk of them moving from Hangouts on Air to YouTube Live or whatever it is. But I think my experience with not just with Google Hangouts, but with Google Groups, with Google Wave, with Google they do this. They often get amazing stuff out there, and then I don't know that they kind of. I don't know, that they sort of leave it and they move on to other things, and then they leave a sort of a non-technical group in charge of supporting it. And then sometimes the technical people come back and you get kind of an upgrade, which is like, oh, well, what was that? And there's kind of slightly a disconnect compared to, for example, my experience with Amazon, I would say, or some others, or GitHub, who are much more, they stay and maintain the products they're delivering in a more consistent way in my experience.
Yeah, I was worried if they're signaling that they're going to be abandoning a product when they start doing that.
Yeah,
because they experiment and kill stuff all the time, right? Okay, well, maybe we should get going. So let's start the stand-up. And Lara, would you like to go first?
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so as mentioned before, last week I didn't get to code much because of client deliveries. Unfortunately, my client deliveries carried on to the weekend because they've got a big presentation actually in the UK that I had to finish up yesterday. So so this morning I got back onto coding. I did some work, tried to do some work on local support. I got a little frustrated. I then moved back to MedPlus and I'm busy writing the scenarios now for MedPlus. So Sam, if we can do maybe a pairing session later.
I think he's signaling yes. Yep.
Yeah, I was chewing, so I had I was doing a thumbs up there. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, great. Okay, good. Were you also pairing with Michael on that?
Yeah, so I was pairing with Michael because I've been trying to get Michael to get his ass into gear.
Hey, we're recording, Laura, just so you know.
It's fine. I hope he listens to it because I keep telling him you got to get your ass into gear because
Is this Michael, graduate of Craft Academy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So because he's looking for a job and he hasn't found one yet, so I said to him, keep coding, and he's like coding on doing some pizza project, and I said no, get working on live stuff.
Right.
Good advice. Good advice. Yeah.
So unfortunately, he hasn't taken up my advice, but he did. The one day he just popped in, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said nothing. So I said, "Come help me." So, but I did pair up with Segu. I'm actually quite surprised he's not in today's stand-up, but he's not very familiar with Cucumber. So I kind of paired up with him on Friday afternoon just to help him go through it. I sent him a few tutorials. We didn't win, but that was also because I had to leave, so we didn't have much time to pair. But hopefully he'll come right today.
Okay. Should I ping him on Slack? See if I can help him later?
Yeah, I think so. Because I did. Okay. I said to him, he must ping you just to maybe you can help him because we weren't getting it right.
Okay.
It was just a step definition that we weren't getting right.
Yeah, the story he's got is perfect for him because the actual fix for the bug is trivial. It's a one-line change, literally, barely get those. But it's all about tests. We didn't have tests that unearthed the bug. So, and they have to be acceptance tests.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's where we're failing. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sam, do you want to go?
Sure. Yeah. So very pleased to sign up 3 more premium members over the weekend. One of which being Sigu. Also, I think one person who enjoyed the remote conference, the talk I gave there, and another person who, you know, an old friend from boot camp who I reached out to. So that's very pleasing. This morning, I've been working on with Docker on local support. John has done a pull request that's merged in now. I had the whole local support, all the tests running, the entire thing running in a little Docker container on my computer just a few minutes ago. And so that's pleasing progress. And I know that there's another one of the new premium members, Ed Milson, is very interested in using Docker. And this is this whole container architecture, which is the way the world is going. I must confess to be slightly, I mean, I'm, you know, reasonably happy with the way in which we deploy things to Heroku or other similar platform as a service with just, you know, from GitHub. I guess that the key thing is the Docker file. Effectively, it's you're kind of locking down not just the libraries but also the entire operating system to say this is what it's going to be. And potentially, I mean, I guess if we do this with projects, it may allow us to move to a cheaper infrastructure setup because Heroku is getting more expensive and more draconian. I think Salesforce is sort of squeezing them to make more money. I mean, you know, they've got to make a living, absolutely. But it may not necessarily. I've got a meeting with Heroku tomorrow to talk about that, and I've got a meeting with a different service provider on Wednesday. So hoping to kind of work out a good plan for us that will support everything going forwards. Yeah, and I'm working through. I've managed to work through all the local support tickets and pull requests and things on website 1, and yes, just trying to stay on top of everything. Yeah, so looking pretty good for myself. Thanks.
All right, sounds good. For myself, I did talk to Hua last week. Must have been Wednesday because it was out Thursday and Friday, about adding the meetup.com or meetup.com pair programming people to the Pacific Rim Scrum, and he thought that was a good idea as well. So he was going to get in touch with you, Sam. I don't know if he did yet.
Yeah, we spoke. Yeah.
Okay, great. I think it'd be great if we can bring some more people into that. I did start on a story for 28, which is we have Mailgun as our email service now, and they have a great email validation service. It's a RESTful API, and they'll validate not just format and syntax, but they'll also validate whether there's a DNS record, if there's an MX server associated with the email domain address, etc. So I'm going to implement that, which, because emails are transactional to us, they're not just nice to have. We absolutely have to have them in order to get people on board and confirm their account, etc. And today I'll continue to work on that story. I'll also start review. We have this thing called Company Controller, and it has one action called Home. So we present the home page of the company. I don't think we actually use it. Right now it just says this is the name of the company at the top. So I think I need to look at that and see if we need to, and it's referenced, that a company home path is referenced in the code in a few places. I don't think we need it, so I may have to create a story to re-engineer that out of existence, that whole company controller. And I think we also have the problem with an agency controller. Probably we have an agency homepage that we don't also use. We ended up using company people home path, agency people home path instead. So that's it for me, and no blockers. So
good stuff.
All right, well, we got it done in time, huh?
Yeah.
All right, anything else from anyone?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right, great. I'll try to connect up with Sigu, Laura, see if I can help.
Okay, great. Yeah, that would be great.
And Laura, yeah, can I give you some help with the local support thing? What would be a good time for you?
Yes, please. If you can, in what's the time now? It's 1:30, which I think is where are you behind us?
Well, don't worry about the time zone I'm in.
Yeah,
But,
1:30 my time.
In about 45 minutes from now.
Yeah, please.
Cool. All right, well, just give me a ping and we'll sort something out.
I will do. Thank you.
Nice one.
All right, we're all coordinated.
All right, good
All
stuff.
right. Thanks,
okay, bye for now.
Have a good
Thanks, Pat.
afternoon.
I can't see why the Slack thing didn't work.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.